But today, what we're going to talk about is social media and how to create some winning strategies for your business or your organization. We're going to talk about a lot of things because different questions have come into my space. So you'll see us kind of gravitate to some just, you'll be like, whoa, where'd that come out from? It's because it's been a common question. And I just wanted to make sure that I included that in what we're talking about today. So we're going to talk about building engagement, growing your audience, and elevating your impact. So why does social media matter for your business? I feel like social media, and for those who are social media gurus and like are already in this space, you can sympathize, or even if you just are in the marketing space, people talk about social media like it takes 15 minutes to do, but it is its own beast of a strategy. And it's very powerful, but it can also be a waste of energy. And so doing it right matters. What's important is this is really probably the five goals that I'm often thinking about when it comes to why are we doing this? So you want to expand visibility. It's an opportunity for you to constantly be putting your face out there and reaching new audiences, but also reminding people you're there, right? This is top of mind awareness at its peak. Where are people doom scrolling? They are on Facebook, they are on Instagram, they are on TikTok, they are doom scrolling and they sit there in the morning and start their day with it. They sit there during lunch and playing it. Just think of your own life. I mean, how many times are we watching TV and doom scrolling? Then there's like five different devices in the room and everybody's doing their own scroll. You're wanting to engage your customers or your members or your clients and encourage participation. It's a really great platform to show that you're an expert, but to also show that you're paying attention to the industry insights. So, not just feeling like you always have to put it out there, but also being able to say, hey, what else should we be sharing? What other industry insights and sharing other people's content? Promoting your events, promoting your people, promoting certifications. All of this is such a great space to say we are great at what we do. We treat our people great. We care about our people. We hold events. We want to train you. That's what social media does in just the most beautiful way. And then to recruit and retain professionals. I find that one of the things that's you're doing on social media is yes, we're trying to post and we're trying to get people to see what we post today. We're always trying to do that. But you're also building your page, just like you build a website blog or a website page for that fact. You are constantly trying to make sure that when somebody says, hey, I'm thinking about this organization or I'm thinking about Experior, that when they go to your website or your social media page, they see your activity and they see that you are treating your employees great, or they see that you're constantly looking at what are the insights that are out there in the space, this industry, and that you are the expert. You are somewhat giving them proof. Just like when we went from that transition of everybody has to have a website, it was proof that you were in the space of knowing what you were doing, even though your website may not really even matter to the industry. You're proving that you're there. All right, let me jump. So, setting a social media strategy, setting a new marketing campaign strategy. I see a lot of experts in marketing on this call, and you know how this works, right? If you don't have defined goals, then you're not going to get to the impact that you need to make. So, be intentional. What is it that your social media is trying to do? Are you increasing engagement? Are you promoting events? Are you just trying to create top of mind awareness? Are you growing membership? All of these matter because at the end of the day, when it goes to what kind of content calendar you're going to build and what kind of impact you're trying to make, it will change what types of visuals you need to show. Know your audience. Are you just talking to other businesses? Are they business professionals? Is it a certain business person that you're trying to talk to? With all of these platforms, you can get so specific once you want to engage at a higher level where it comes to boosting, comes to advertising. You're able to really talk to exactly who you want to talk to, at least pretty close. So get that clear. You need to do that as you're doing your marketing strategy. You need to do it as your social media strategy. If it's consumers, maybe that's a difference. And then also to be thinking about, is it your employees and your prospective employees? We're going to talk about LinkedIn. And I know for years, we had an entire strategy on LinkedIn that we really weren't ready to be experts in the field with a client, but they did a really good job of taking care of their employees. And so we used that platform to showcase all the cool stuff that we did with employees, whether it was volunteer work or whether it was promotions, certifications. It was all about the employee because we used LinkedIn as a way to bring employees in. And so that was the tool, right? We wanted them to go to LinkedIn, see that there was a job opening, click over to the client's, page, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh yeah, like they do treat their people well," because that's the only framework they care about at that moment, right? They don't necessarily care if you're an expert or anything like that. They just want to know that they're going to a job where people are treated well, where people are internally promoted, where they're encouraged to continue to grow. Whatever it might be that you do as a company or as an organization, there is no reason to hide any of that from your social because it's an important part of retention and recruitment. Then you want to think about choosing your platforms. I got this great question. I'll hold it just a second because I know I'll get into it. But what platforms are really going to be the right platforms for you? And we'll talk a little bit about some of the platforms, but LinkedIn is not, I mean, I think we've got a billion users now. It's not your number one for sure, but it's a great platform that can easily be um, accessed. It can be something that you're going to intentionally use. If your industry doesn't really spend time there, then of course, no, it's not a great platform. So be intentional about what you're choosing. If you're a retail business, you better be on Facebook. If you have great visuals, you better be on Instagram. TikTok, you really got to think that one through. What are you going to do on a regular basis? What can you do as an organization? What's the reality? And then don't be on all of them. As much as like we want to, it is really hard as a social media director, as a marketing department, as a business owner to try to feed all of those beasts and not just feel like you're running into a wall. And then build your content calendar. We'll talk about some ways to build content calendars with AI here in a little bit to kind of dive into that. But post constantly. There used to be this thought process of like, oh, about 3 times a week. Let's be real. You are inundated by so much content that if you do not post on a pretty high level, you're not getting seen. If you don't boost, then you're not getting seen. And so I just want you to like take away any fear of over posting and really lean into, okay, the goal is fill in the blank. You got to think about what can you actually achieve. And then if you can get up there, like let's go for 3 to 5 times a week. And then if you can, let's go for a couple posts. Just as a comparison for one business, we may only post 3 times a week because frankly, it's just that's all we got for content. For TK, we actually post, our goal is to post so much that we are on everyone's feed all the time. And we do that by also doing boosts that have different audiences. And I'll talk a little bit about boosting, but we do it so much, we actually get paid by Facebook because of how much we post. It's not a lot of money or anything like that, but it's nice to see that, Facebook is encouraging it. They want you to engage, they want you to participate. And the algorithm is working against us. So be willing to engage on a high level. Don't be afraid of that, I guess, is what's most important. So what social media platform to work with? So this is some numbers. I'll give you the recording. I'm actually happy to make sure I send you some of these slides too. This one in particular, Facebook, 3 billion users. And I just want to throw it out there to check out YouTube because I think if you have a lot of video work or you're thinking about what should we do, you might want to consider going with YouTube rather than TikTok. YouTube has a power play and it's one that's got a lot of visitors. I also want to throw it out there that there is a strategy, and we work with it all the time. Tim Colling and Sean Carter on our team do this a lot, where they're working with um, digital advertising. So if, let's say, you don't have the time or you want to be more tactical with your advertising, you can choose digital advertising and target all of these different options in different ways and really be able to do some great work when it comes to targeting, putting your video on YouTube, scheduling that out, getting that placed where you're targeting the exact audience you want to target. All right. Couple content pieces. There's tons of different options. I just wanted to throw out a few. So I'll pick from this list, but I want you to take a look at all of these. Short form video, it is super great. There is a platform called, oh my gosh, Opus Clips, that we use regularly. There's a ton of different AI platforms. So let's say you have a great video, even this video right now that I'm creating, right? I can take this video, drop it into these AI platforms, and it will pull out and create a short video where it's just creating a snapshot of this conversation. So it feeds off of the breath, right? So if I take a break, then it's going to know that I'm done with that particular session and it'll give me an AI of just that one reel. It'll actually give me a whole bunch of reel options and then I can tweak them. I can even go in and take away all my ums and my so's. Oh my gosh. You could play a drinking game with the number of so's that I like to say in a conversation. And so the short form video is very powerful. Employee spotlights, you're going to hear me talk about that all the time. Behind the scenes is a really great way to engage with people. So we're going to get into some LinkedIn and things like that. But when it comes to how is your post going to do, if you put people in your post, it is going to skyrocket. If you tag people, it is going to skyrocket. If you tag organizations, it is going to skyrocket. So then the question of how can you tag people? No. But when I go off platform, I can then go into it as my own person and I can go and tag Jennifer and I can tag Tim and I can say, they were all a part of this and now they're getting a message that shares that they were tagged and all their audience is starting to get what I'm posting. So it's worth the effort to go ahead and add that extra hit to tag the businesses and to go in and tag the photo with the people who are in it. Show the behind the scenes of what's going on, whether it's video, whether it's photos. And then when it comes to events, pay for that photographer to show up. Get all those photos of the event. If you want, if you have a goal to put them on the website, then share the post. And then a couple days later, go and put all of those photos on. That people love that stuff. They are, right? Facebook is the space of FOMO. You'll even see it on my slide here in a second. People have a fear of missing out. Make them want to see the things you're doing. Make them feel like, oh man, I didn't go to Top City Promise Gala or Black Entrepreneurs of the Flint Hills Circle of Community event. Wow, that was some really cool stuff they were doing. I want to know more. We get so much more out of a post when we share people. So LinkedIn. All right. I have been working really hard in the LinkedIn space to try to navigate how do I make this work. So I've been in a learning space with it. And I just want to share this is a great space for posting articles. So I do a lot of double whammy work. So if you're a website that's already posting blogs, and you should be, it's really, really valuable to be activating it for an SEO purpose to make sure that you're constantly posting on your blog site and ensuring that the right words are in your blogs. Do that. Post it to LinkedIn, post it to Facebook, do all those posts. It's really critical. Then, what I want you to do is I want you to take that blog and I want you to post it in as an article. Um, I think I'm going to jump here. So when you go to create, you have the opportunity to publish an article. You've already created this blog. Double down on it. Go into LinkedIn, post it as an article, make sure that you tag any of the individuals that are a part of that article, tag any of the businesses, because then now you've got an article that's going to feed out into LinkedIn and bring all those people together. They're all going to get notified for being a part of it. All their circles are probably more likely to actually get access to this. And then on top of it, LinkedIn loves you. LinkedIn is looking for you to be a part of their community, to engage. They want you to post articles. They want you to publish and create newsletters. They're looking for you to do this. And then they're looking for you to answer questions. So when you see those questions get posted onto LinkedIn, answer them. If they're industry specific, if for me, if it's a marketing question, if it's a social media question, if I just take those 2 minutes to write an answer, then I am going to be looked at higher on LinkedIn and it's going to want to continue to feed its LinkedIn audience with me. That's why influencers are taking such advantage of LinkedIn and they're getting posted to you. It's also because they're engaging. So if you engage, you can start becoming an expert on LinkedIn where it will feed the audience that wants your information with you because you're engaging in that way. So think about another thing that you can be doing, and I think I have it on this last page. Um, I'll go back to it later. Is think about can you follow an influencer and share your thoughts when they post something? just like that, can you share an industry insight onto your page? That's where you get some major power play in LinkedIn. So Facebook. Again, I talked about FOMO, it's events, it's people. This is what you want to be sharing things that make people feel a little jealous, and you want to engage with that on a high level. I mentioned Facebook groups in here because some industries, this is really, really great. It has a lot of hiccups. Where it's really fantastic is if you have an audience, a member group, if you have a VIP group where you can actually take advantage of a group, you are able to then send them, maybe if you're going to do some kind of live event. I see when I see this really be successful, I've seen it in the retail space where maybe there's going to be a sell with the VIP group. And so you want to be a VIP, and then they send out an email that says, hey, our event's going to be at 6 o'clock. We're going to start the sell. And then they're using the group to really sell that. I've also seen it be really successful when you have, maybe you have a group of 1099s, right? Subcontractors or contract workers, and then you're able to use that group in a way that helps them and communicates with that group alone. So sometimes it works really great. I'm also not going to lie that there are times when I just find it to be hard because a lot of the platforms, like I'm going to show you Cloud Campaign, Hootsuite, they don't feed to the group in the same way. And so you have to get on platform to truly be successful with the Facebook groups. But I wanted to mention it because I get questions about it a lot. Dropping really quick into video. The biggest part of sales, right? Sales and marketing is just doing it. So I encourage you to just do it. And if you are a late millennial or a Gen Xer or a boomer, you don't really like being on video. We didn't grow up being on video on a regular basis. And so this isn't a friendly space for us. We feel self-conscious and we overthink it. Look at what everybody else is doing. Like they're not feeling self-conscious and they are, well, they are, right? We all have a little tendency to feel that like concern that maybe we shouldn't be doing it or we're not doing it right. Here's the tips. If you want, this is a great platform, right? I'm in my office, it's a quiet space. I don't even have a mic, right? I just have good lighting. I have a ring light to focus on me. I turned off my lights so that I don't have a glare from the top light. I'm thinking about what my background is. It's a little bit cluttery. So for this event, I have a blur. We have our own backgrounds where, we have our compass background so that we can showcase our background in a way that's more business friendly. That's a great way to do your lighting, a great way to do your audio. Going outside, the lighting is perfect. So think about like, could I just pop outside? You see it all the time with some of the top people in industry where they go outside and they walk around and they show you like their backyard, where they're doing that because it's great lighting and it's quiet and they're able to make a really good video without having to have all the extras. Couple other tips. A steady hand can be enough, but you could grab a tripod. We actually have these. I'm not sure if you can see my screen, but it's just a phone holder. It works great as a tripod. There's also things called gimbals, and you can buy them for under $100, and they connect to your phone. And what they do is steady, so that let's say you want to show something, you don't have any kind of bumpiness to your video. Editing, let's be real, Canva's amazing. I just told you about Opus Clip AI, which will cut your things down into shorts. Be quick. Nobody can handle more than 8 seconds. And call to action. So do the call to action at the beginning and at the end. Hey, I want you to sign up for this great event we've got going on. Man, I've got some fun stuff to tell you. Make sure you comment below because I want to hear from you, right? Do it at the beginning and then remind them at the end. You're wanting them to participate, but you got to do things at the beginning because we have an 8 second fish, what is it, goldfish memory and or attention span. I can't talk about social without talking about handling negative comments and crisis issues. So if you're going to be in the social space, these things are going to happen. If your industry is not volatile, you don't have to worry about this. But there's a lot of times like we got one. I remember with TK, and it was a negative comment about an article we did, and it was fantastic because I watched our community basically go to war for us, and they were the ones sharing and coming behind us. We never actually posted a response, which is not what I would normally say. We had so many people posting We sent personal emails out thanking each person that had defended us. I think we even sent some gift cards because we were just so enamored by the support that we got from people. So that was a really special time. So have a little bit of confidence in that. Also, if you have a negative comment or a negative review, I'm going to go ahead and have reviews. Take a second to let your brain come off the trigger and do not type back. I cannot tell you how many businesses I've watched completely blow it by getting angry and responding. It doesn't, being mean back is not going to help you. It's really powerful to potentially, I have down here, like use company guidelines to have maybe a set of responses. So if somebody says something like they had a bad experience, the standard answer is, we are so sorry you had a bad negative experience. We really want to make it up to you. Is it okay if I DM you so that we can do our best to make it right? Right? That's doing the best they can. Another thing that's been a great tactic for us is to personalize that they are talking to a human. It's amazing how mean people can be until they realize they're talking to someone. So while our post shows that it's Compass, as an example, we could actually say, "Hey, this is Tara. I am so sorry you had that experience. I want to make it right. I'm going to reach out to you with a DM so that I can connect with you." And that way you stay on platform, right? You stay in, let's say it's Facebook, but you go over to Messenger, but you're not going off platform. Then once you go to Messenger, if it's appropriate, that's when you could go off platform, whether you get their phone number or whether you get their email address. You want to show people that it's okay to have a negative experience and it's okay that we are here to serve. That's the goal. Um, we've also had experiences where people's demands or people's negativity is just outrageous. We've hidden that um, if it's inappropriate and wrong. And then after multiple times, we've blocked someone. We take a lot of thought process in that. Like, there's no way I'm just going to block somebody unless they have been vulgar for weeks, I'll be honest, or vulgar in a way that's unkind and inappropriate. And I would use things like racism, sexism, cruelty, just being mean. Like there's a different space for that, right? We all know what it is, and we all know when people go over it. And we had a gentleman with the company I was working with who was just cruel. And every day he would post the same post. And but first we did our first step of acknowledging their concerns and saying, we'd love to talk to you more about this, which we did. We followed up. We even got all the way to a VP level position to talk with them. They were unsatisfied with our response because it was unrealistic what they wanted, and they continued to post. So we blocked them. And then they went on to post on their site every day for an entire year until their own audience started going, "What is wrong with you? Why are you continuing to post this?" And he started to lose his own following group. And that finally stopped him. So there's at least there's a point when you have to trust it, but the first play is always, how do I make this right? And not be angry, and just know that people are frustrated people and they're going to have some negative comments. AI is your best friend. I encourage you to play with it, but let's be real. People are saying things like, "It doesn't work for me." Well, let me explain why. It's because your prompts are not good. You have to be really strong with your prompts. This prompt actually isn't a great prompt, but it's going to help me explain what things need to be in your prompt. And I say it's not a great prompt because it's not as drilled down as I want you to drill down with. If you're already good at this, please ignore. Maybe there's a tip in here that will enhance your prompts. I love just making my prompts better. I hope a lot of you are using where you pull in content. One thing that's not in this that I've been doing is, let's say, Jen, I'm going to use you. Let's say I want Jen to be my social media voice for our company. I really like how she posts, and she's one of our key players. She's our chief marketing officer. I really want her to kind of have a voice in the way we say things. Or maybe she's the main person and I'm coming behind her. I can actually feed in her Facebook page and say, "I want the voice to sound like Jennifer Getz." And then it will do that work, and it will give me a better voice than just the voice of what chat's going to give me. So that is going to be really powerful. So you're going to tell it who it is. You can do this by saying you are the social media director, or you can say it by saying I am the social media director. You're going to say your organization. I would encourage you, and it says it at the bottom, but to add your website, add your social media links, add anything that is important. You could even add, like, if you think someone else is doing a really great job, you could add their links, you could add their website and let it know, like, I really love what business A is doing. Use their website to help improve my website's content so that the social media calendar is even more robust. You want to set it, your goals. So that's what I did next. I said, I just used the goals from the very first page. If you're doing this, I want you to get specific. What are your goals? How detailed can you get so that you really provide some great goals so that AI can say, "Oh, I know what you want." Then give it some direction. I need a 1 month calendar. Maybe just the other day I did a 3 month campaign that was specific to one goal. But let's say you want a 1 month calendar with specific post ideas, including content themes, engagement strategies. This matters, right? You want it to best practices. Maybe you want something different, but you need to tell it. Like, I want these posts to include short reels, um, anything that maybe is something you guys already do so that it's not a big jump. It's just enhancing some of the things you want to do. And you want to increase sales, you want to boost engagement, and you want to enhance online presence. Maybe that's I want to recruit new employees, period. Then you want it to tell it what you want it to provide. Please provide. And this could be different, right? I'm saying a structured weekly posting schedule. Maybe you want a daily posting schedule. Maybe you want 5 posts per week, whatever. Tell it, and it will give you that. I want suggested post types. Maybe you want more detail, ideas for engaging, and call to action. Call to action is really important. And then recommendations for maximizing your reach and post. The content should align with our mission. You can put just your website page with your mission, or you can actually put some details about your mission. Your core values are really powerful. Please use this key messaging. You can drop in a branding guide. All of that stuff is going to be super powerful. You can also say, I want to include hashtags. You could say, I want to include these hashtags, or please give me a list of hashtags that could be powerful for my industry and what I'm talking about. Drop that in and you will be amazed at the products you're going to get. It's going to be so much more powerful. So I encourage you to use this prompt. You can also just, frankly, give a little direction to it and say, could you give me 7 prompts that I could use to improve what I'm putting out there? All right, so social media management tools. I get a lot of questions about this, so I just wanted to throw it out there. We actually have our own social media platform. It's called Compass Cloud. It's based out of Cloud Campaign. If you've ever seen that product, it's an agency product. It gives us a ton of analytics. So if you have any interest and you're like, yeah, I'm kind of thinking about it, I'd love to show you what we have. I love the dashboard. This is TK's dashboard. So you're able to see, like, okay, cool. I can see which post did good. Frankly, I can see when a post is boosted. How did it do? And then Hootsuite's got a great platform. They've got some different things, some listening tools. I found it to not be as it's a little, it's a lot. So it was a lot for me. I can do a little bit more powerful plays with my Compass Cloud. But if you don't want to do any of that, you can do all your scheduling with Meta Business and LinkedIn. I think you can push out a whole month. With LinkedIn, I feel like I push out 2 to 3 months. So I do a ton of scheduling because if you are really, really good at this, you can schedule all the way out. I schedule out as much as 3 months ahead of time. And so I run more of like a campaign. So go back to the AI thoughts. I'm running more of a specific campaign on that goal. And then I run another campaign and another campaign and another campaign. So when I go to build my social media calendar, it's got all these different campaigns launching on it. And I don't care if they land on the same day. I try to pay attention to time, just to be like thinking about time. I love early morning. There's tons of doom scrollers in the morning. And honestly, after 5 o'clock is a really great power play too. Um, People are not always able to be scrolling on social, depending on what platform during the workday, if your target is a business. If your target's a consumer, game on. That changes it completely. All right. Okay, so bad news. So I'm gonna the next few slides are really just gonna walk you through the bad news and how we solve it. So the bad news is for Facebook specifically, but all of the platforms are very much like this. 2 to 6% of your Facebook followers will actually see your organic posts. So you do all this work to create all this great content, and then nobody gets to see it. And so, yes, you are doing it for the purpose of all those people that come to your Facebook page because they want to see what you got going on for recruiting, retention, to show that you're an expert. Yes, you're doing all that and you have to do it. But then here's the bad news, like 2 to 6%. I don't know how it makes you all feel, but it makes me feel angry. If I'm really being honest, like you've got all these viewers and all these followers, and then none of it get it. So you've got to consider a couple things. We have great digital advertising. I talked about it before with Tim and Sean. That's just really wonderful. Uh, Miranda, I hope you're okay with me using your post. But you can boost your posts, and you really have to consider it, and you don't have to have a huge budget for it. For TK, honestly, I'm doing anywhere between 12 to $20 on a post, and it will change the game for me from maybe 3 likes, 5 likes to 200 to 300. The other day I'm over 300 on a post that I spent $14 on. Likes, actual engagement. But for this views and impressions, we're well up into 5 and 6,000 because of 12 to $20. So to do this, you're just going to click that boost. I'm going to walk through this just really quickly, but you're going to click boost post. You're going to immediately, it's going to ask you, like, what's your goal? And for me, a lot of times my goal is going to be engagement. I don't always play with that automatic because I want to control that. But if you want to get calls, if you want more website visitors, it's going to go to people who are your target, who also are more likely to click on the link to go to the website. So if you're showing a blog, you might want website visitors. If you're showing, you just want people to like be hitting like, you want engagement. If you want people to message you and communicate with you, then you want messages. But if you do that, you got to remember you did it so that you're following up on your messenger and you're not just letting that go uh, over to the side. Next, you're going to choose what button you want, whether it's no button, book now, learn more, and that is going to show up on the screen with your visual. You're going to see like a beautiful picture, I hope, is what you've got, and then you're going to see that whether there's a button, book now, learn more, shop now, and that will give you to the next phase of what you want. Then it lets you choose your audience. Make sure you do this location. Make sure you don't just go to the United States. Make sure you target exactly where you want to go. The beauty is you can target lots of different places, and then you can target around them as whether it's like I do a lot of Topeka DMA, because I want to go ahead and reach into Alma and Lawrence and some of those areas where the DMA is going to reach into. I don't just want Topeka, or I want Topeka and a 25-mile radius. So be thinking about where am I located and where are my customers coming from? And then you can go into the detailed targeting and you can be specific about what do they like. For Compass, we might be talking to people who are really interested who are a business owner, but we also might be talking to a marketing director. We might be talking to HR, and we want those to be different audiences. So make sure you have multiple audiences. I have audiences in TK where I go and I have like a foodie audience, and then I have like a bougie audience. I have a business to business audience because depending on the article we're sharing is going to make me choose who is the business I'm going after. Then you're going to choose your amount. You want to go at least 4 days. You want to, that $12, I'm going to maybe get 800 to 2,000 a day for those 4 days. That's not bad, right? If I'm just trying to kind of keep my site, I want people to actually see what I'm posting, not 2 to 6%. I want people to see what I'm posting. $12 is nothing. That sounds like a great idea. All right, I'm gonna jump into questions. I've been seeing lots of chat little things. I'm going to stop my share. Um, Jen, I can pull up the chat, but Jen, any questions that you saw or you want to throw out there?
Sure. Well, first I was going to backtrack one on when it's time to block someone, just because I've had a lot of experience with that in various phases of my life. I want to throw out there that a lot of times it's just best to hide something that someone says. That's, as it escalates, I should say. But legally, you might not want to get rid of it just because if you need to explain how something happened, you have proof of what you did. But, and I know this is a little bit of an extreme one, but anytime there's a death threat, you have every right to catalog that and remove that person from your page. Um, So that's just something to keep in mind because, to your point, sometimes people get frustrated and they don't always handle that well. But otherwise, I just want to throw out there, Rich had a great question about if using YouTube will rank you higher on Google. And the answer that I gave, Rich, but I just want everybody to have the chance to hear it, and Tara, you as well. Um, Basically, yes, having a YouTube channel and actively using your YouTube channel will help your website move up in Google rankings. But the importance in that conversation is making sure, if you've not heard the term, it's search engine optimization, making sure that you're filling in that description about the video that you posted with words that pair up nicely with your website so that everything's homogeneous. But that was something that I just wanted to make sure that everybody had a chance to listen to. But let's see, a couple of things that have just popped up. Um, let's see, Jennifer Kermis, what time of day to post for each platform and the average numbers to get the best boost. So Tara, I'll pitch that one to you.
Yeah. Okay, I love the question. So the time is something you actually need to watch yourself a little bit. So again, I really like an early morning post because people get up and they doom scroll a little bit, right? They start their day popping into Facebook, popping in. They don't really pop into LinkedIn. LinkedIn's probably more of the daytime, like the work time hours, because they're going to get an email that comes through, and that's going to maybe drive them to click onto it because somebody, maybe is asking to be a friend. So LinkedIn, I think, is more during the work day. We often hit at like 8:30, 9 o'clock, the time when the people are sitting down and kind of looking at that. With Facebook and with people in the picture, I want people to be kind of in the doom scroll space. So I'm looking again early morning, 6, 7:30, and then I like 4:30, I like 5 o'clock because I'm able to get people when they're like, oh, I want to see who's doing that. Frankly, people do get on social media all the time throughout the day. So that's not a big piece. But then also to go into your analytics onto social media, whether it's Facebook analytics, whether it's like for me with Compass Cloud, I can go in and I can see like what time of day actually is working for my business because that does change. And so thinking financial sector, I would probably be early morning a lot and trying to catch them before they really start their day. If the content is people, if it is anything expert. LinkedIn would start probably around 8:30, 9 o'clock. And then again, culture would start at 4:30 would be kind of how I run my social timings. Um, but at the end of the day, if you can post 3 times a day and have it be throughout the day, that's really good too, because you're still going up against the 2 to 6. Jennifer, tell me the boosting question again. Or yeah, tell me that one.
Sure. So basically, best time of day to post for each platform, and the average number of hashtags to get the best boost.
Oh gosh. Okay. Okay, so I do think hashtags matter. I do not think they matter as much as we like to put them in because a lot of us are smaller businesses. I think that it's really important to try to find like I really love Topeka, if you're a Topeka person or your community. I like posts, like we do a lot of innovation and things, words that are kind of gonna grab a lot of people. Um, Consistency of some hashtags can be really valuable as well. And so I like some consistency in my hashtags. So like for a company, um, I'll do Compass. So like Compass Cares or Compass maybe supports our community. I know that's long, but I'm going to do that every single time so that if for any reason somebody clicked on the hashtag, they would also see all the posts that are ours. I'm finding that, again, I use some analytics to kind of see this, that if I put 6 hashtags, that seems to be one of the ones that gets the best. So somewhere between the 6, 9 number of hashtags, which just seems grossly a lot. I also set it up with my platforms to have groupings of hashtags. So if we're posting kind of as an expert, then I make sure that my post has a bunch of my SEO words. So be thinking about that too. So if you haven't done that work, you could go on to ChatGTP. They do a great job. give a lot of information about your industry and say, could you give me some top SEO words? Those could be your hashtags and they could be very powerful to actually really hit into your industry and do what we were just talking about with Rich's question, where you are trying to do search engine optimization all the time. Everything you do, every hashtag, every post you're making, it is all feeding the beast. And so you want to make sure that you're being consistent in your word choices and not just like randomly throwing in something that has nothing to do with your industry. And chat will do that. So don't just copy and paste. Oh my gosh, don't copy and paste. And that can be powerful. Also, Morgan sent in a question. She said, and I think this is awesome because I didn't touch on it like I thought I would. With the political environment, more people are changing their social media habits, leaving Facebook and moving to Blue Sky or Substack or closing Twitter accounts. How is that being tracked? And how should that impact our social media strategies? Well, it's impacting our social media strategies right now. We have clients leaving Twitter, X, um, right now in droves. I was just doing some research after I got the question, just to kind of make sure I had my hands around it. Um, 50 of the top 100 former advertisers on Twitter have left, right? They're just done. Um, Politically charged organizations might need to stay on it so that they can make something happen with that. So that's happening. But I have a whole group of, so I kind of mentioned my numbers, right? TK is posting like content, right? We're posting articles. I went and looked. I think the highest number of impressions, just people seeing that post, not engagement, just them seeing the post, 32. That was the highest in the last month. Why am I there? Right? Like, why are we even burning the energy to post to that platform if I'm going to have 32 people see it? So it doesn't help if you're not an engaged participant, which in its own right has challenges as an organization, you're not getting anything off of X. So if you want to leave it, leave it. If politically you want to leave it, leave it. Boards of directors are having those conversations on a pretty regular basis. But I think for me, it's more about why would I go on a platform that's going to give me 32 impressions versus a platform that can give me 5,000 on the same post? And so consider that. The question on Blue Sky and Substack, there's never an issue with trying some of those platforms. I think that um, we were just talking about threads, right? If you are going to go over to them, it's more work to do. So I would encourage you to personally participate before you take your business over there. Make sure that you're seeing value in it. Make sure that you're seeing the numbers go up because let's be real, Facebook is getting 3.6 billion users. Um, Instagram, I think what is 1.6, something like that. YouTube. There are platforms, depending on your audience, that are just so big, you are going to have to pay for it. They are a business and they want to make a lot of money. And so you have to engage by boosting or by doing digital advertising, like we do a ton of, so that your post gets out there. But as far as moving platforms, think about workload when it comes to Blue Sky, and I'll do some research on this, like it's not necessarily connected into all the platforms yet, like Hootsuite, and I'm not sure if it is with Hootsuite, but I know it's not with Cloud. And that's a big piece of it too, because you need some ease to this. You need to be able to handle what you're taking on. So I hope that helps. Um, I'm finding that to be interesting. One of our platforms that's a major platform, X won't play nicely with it. And so they're not going to allow the scheduling. That's a problem, right? Because now I've got all these clients who have X accounts, and now to feed that X account, we have to actually go off platform to use it, go into their X platform. Again, is it worth my time? Is it worth their time? And we have to evaluate that with each client to figure out which way are we going to go with it. Jen, any other questions that people might have had, or any questions you think I didn't touch on that would be valuable?
No, I think your point is exceedingly valid when it comes to that cross-platform posting kind of stuff. Where does your buyer live? Where does your customer live? Where does your voter live? That kind of stuff. Like where do they spend their time? And that's where you need to spend your energy. But we're also talking energy and we're also talking dollars. So we do have a question in here. Where do we find boosting in Instagram, and is there a fee associated? And yes, there definitely is, but it's a truck ton like Facebook on finding where that boost component is. Um, it's just a little bit of noodling around in there, Melissa, to try and track that down.
Well, and
But
I'll jump in. Melissa,
yeah.
so what I do because I'm on Facebook and Instagram with almost every client, some clients don't have Instagram, but um, every client's got Facebook, it seems like. So what we do is we just make sure that Instagram and Facebook are attached. And so when I go to post on Facebook, it automatically also boosts on Instagram. So that connection's there. And so I just have to, I don't even have to, it's automatically like placed. So when you just go check to see if those two are connected, and then just boost through Facebook if you want to boost, and then you're going to boost both sides and you're going to knock it out. It's going to be easy.
Yep, absolutely. And Kelly just asked a great question. Tips or tricks for creating the right Facebook audience to be sending your business to? How would you suggest them going about that?
So to grow your audience, is that what?
Uh, and Kelly, you might be able to provide a little bit of clarity, but I'm wondering if we're talking about when you're trying to build that audience to send your product to, send your business to when you're boosting something. How do you like to go? Oh,
Oh, creating the ad audience.
creating the audience. Perfect. Thank you, Kelly.
Okay. So the boost, so to go in there and we do this for clients too. So this is always something that you can probably have a manager do as well. But it has a ton of options. So the first thing I said, like if it's more women than men, you can target straight to women. And I love creating multiple audiences because once you create an audience, it saves it and like you name it and it's just so fantastic because then you can get a little more specific and it also allows you, sorry, I'm going into the weeds a little bit, but it allows you when you create multiple audiences something that boosting does is like I'm going to boost like I might be boosting 7 posts because I want people to see what we post. That 2 to 6 makes me angry beyond belief. And so I need multiple audiences or else I'm colliding and fighting against my own audience. So that's why I said, like I have the foodie audience and the bougie audience. So if you're thinking about, okay, well, I've got tanning and I've got red light therapy and I've got vacationers and I've got maybe like weddings that are coming up. I've got dancers, I've got moms. You could make an audience for each one of those so that when you go to boost something, you could actually really, really tight target if you wanted it to. Hey, dancers, you've got events coming up. Come in for our spray tan special, right? Boom. And then you're boosting that, sending it directly to moms and to young women who love dance, and then that's where you get really tight with your psychographic and demographics that are in that listing. Just keep typing and it'll pop up another thing and another thing and another thing. And so you're not necessarily tightening it up as much as you are kind of expanding your reach and targeting who those people are and what they pay attention to. So that's how boosting works. Now, I get into the whole other space of the digital advertising where you can get way more fine-tuned, but you're going to pay a larger amount for that because of the specifics and the targets. With some of what Tim and Sean can do, they can actually say, okay, you want to do a home equity campaign and you're in the financial industry. Well, let's target Menards and let's literally put a square around it. So if somebody walks in the door, they're going to start getting those ads. So that's not boosting. That's digital advertising, but it's another tactic to really target exactly who you want to get your ads. But boosting, you will be amazed by how cool you can get that audience and how like specific you're going to touch others, but it's still a great audience. Anything else that came through, Jen?
Um, Gosh, I don't know that I'm seeing anything more. Just this is a great moment to call for any last questions. Stephanie did have one other question. You kind of mentioned it, but it was her question was you talked about hashtags. Do they help engagement, and what's the benefit of continuing to use those?
Oh, I know. I've never been a hashtag girl, but I do it anyway. Here's what I have. what I have on almost every single report I run is that with hashtags, I get a little more traction than without. That's what I really got for you. When I am a little more specific with like what that particular thing is, it seems like I love it when I use, I'm in an entrepreneur space, right? So I use innovation, leadership, entrepreneurship. I use our core values, actually. I have that as one of my hashtag lists. So I use that a ton. I also use SEO words a ton. So if maybe, well, I'll use ours. Some of our SEO words might be digital advertising, branding, strategic planning. So I have maybe a SEO batch for digital advertising or traditional media buying, and then I have another set of hashtags for strategy building, and I have another set of hashtags for more of our creative side and branding. And then I can just pop those in. And again, that's feeding kind of who we are as a company. So if somebody's working through Google and trying to find us, they might actually find our Facebook page. So it's worth it. Do it. And I'm in agreement that sometimes you're like, what are we doing here? Why are we still doing it? Well, as importantly, do the tagging. If you're talking about an organization, tag them. Make sure you get that link in there.
Awesome, thank you. We've got two more questions have actually popped in. So from Jason, how to build trust with social media referrals. Do you have any thoughts on that?
How to build trust with social media referrals. Jason, I need a little bit more context. I might not be going down the route I should be going down. While he's doing that, Jen, can you give me the other question? I think I saw Brian post
Yeah,
something.
you did. Yep. For sure. So Brian said, how do you handle ROI promises to clients who invest with you or with promises to management when justifying social ad spend? This is a great question.
It's a great spend. Okay. So the I see that smiley face. Um, it's it's about investment. So step one is I am putting a social media page together basically, right? At the end of the day, it's just like your website. Websites are social media comes up on Google just like a website does. So if I want to make sure that when somebody meets us, they meet us on our Facebook page, they meet us in our Instagram page, they meet us in our LinkedIn page, it has to be robust enough. It has to show that you're alive, that you're functioning, that you treat your people right, that whatever your goals are, it has to do that. And if it doesn't, you missed this massive opportunity to show your brand. So it's a brand play, and that's number one. And so how do you justify it? About the same way as you justify a website, right? Like if we don't have it, then people don't think we exist. If we don't keep it active, then people know that we're those people, right? So silly, but it's true. And if you don't do it, then there is a direct response to things just like I talked about the Google reviews, right? It chooses it makes an impression, it makes a perception of your organization, true or not, that you're not engaged. And that's a big deal. So that's my number one. Then the next step to me, and what I look at as far as what the next phase is okay, so I did all this posting and we're getting 5 people to look at it, or my impressions are 100, right? Okay, now I need you to invest in boosting. So I need a budget of, you don't have to have a huge budget. Like $250 a month could do an amazing amount of work for your organization. And that's pushing it. You have a big thing, maybe you push it with $50. If you have like whenever we're getting ready to run I'm using TK a lot because I do a ton of social with TK. But whenever we're getting ready to launch a magazine, we might run an ad to try to increase our visitors to our platform so that they see us. So we might spend $100 just to like go, hey, remember us? Come like our page, come check us out, see us, so that then when the next flow comes through of all the different articles, we already have them paying attention to us. And so we're a little bit higher up in their algorithm to get hit. Then we're going to boost again, and we're going to boost all of those things. That's going to show impressions. So when you're buying advertising, you're buying impressions. Now, if I can get that to convert, now I'm really making goal. So that's when the boost needs to have some kind of conversion rate to it so that you can show, hey, I didn't just post this, I actually have a conversion. It's awesome too to be able to have a link, a URL versus just a post, right? So I've got a URL and now that's going to feed me to maybe it's a sign up page, maybe it's a landing page. And so now I'm able to show We went from impression to conversion to a lead generation. So think about like, how can I turn that into conversion? And then be realistic with numbers. Man, I just hate it when people are like, we got three conversions. Well, if 3% is a goal for us with a direct mail piece, and we got 100 people to come through that channel, that's freaking amazing. We got 100 people to come into the platform, and then three people signed up. Actually, you've hit conversion rates that are very good. So getting back to thinking about, we set this sometimes these unrealistic goals with social media because everybody's like, oh, you can track it, you can track it. Well, guess what? We used to do traditional, and we used to track it with a 3% rate on a direct mail. So think about those kinds of things when you're kind of trying to prove what the results are. And on us as marketers, we have to do the extra work to say, either one, we're just doing impressions and we're not really trying to convert it, or hey, let's actually do the work to make a landing page that has a conversion request. Or what does conversion mean? Is it a sell? Does it mean we got them to the website? And then track those results so that you can show that. You have to do that through these platforms will do a lot, but then also to make sure you're in your Google Analytics, and then you can feed some of that information to that page. We use UTM codes, especially with our digital advertising, to make sure that we know that that link, you can look up UTM codes, but that link actually drove that result. We use them all the time in digital advertising because we want to be able to say this, digital ad created this impact, and we can see it on the Google Analytics. That was a long answer. Sorry about that.
No, that was an awesome answer. Great job. We've got, I think, time for one more. So this will be kind of short and sweet. But Jason did provide a little bit more information. He said when you reach to a referral or someone tagged you in a comment to reach out and said, to a referral that you don't know, how many times should you try and interact with that referral to try and close that appointment, or close that sell, or get that appointment?
Oh, all right. I'm going to open up chat so I can see that.
Yes, you might. Yeah.
All
And then we
right.
got one we might not get to, but anybody that we didn't get to in the chat, we'll be sure and try and send you an email.
Oh, okay. 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 Well, okay. So, Jason, not knowing your industry off the top of my head, I would say like if somebody has tagged something, I'm going to reach out to them on I'm going to have my couple list, right? I'm going to God, I'm not sure if I'm answering your question, so I'm just going to answer the question I think I'm answering. So let's say something went out and somebody said, I'm interested. And then you reach out to them and you get ghosted, right? Because we all get ghosted and we all ghost. It's just part of the life. They're going to go on a list for me that every time I have something, I'm probably going to direct message them. So there's a product that I had that was kind of it's a women business owner group. And when somebody would refer in and say they'd want to be a part of that, they became part of my direct messaging group. But I individually direct messaged them. I didn't actually do like a big group, which you can do because I don't like how that plays out. But I would send them every time we were getting ready to start a new group or a new session, because it kind of in monthly we'd start a new session. They became a part of who I just messaged. And Messenger's such a great space. I might go on Messenger and ask them for an email so that then I can put them in our email flow and funnel it through that way so that now they're getting a Messenger and an email. So I'm basically turning them into a prospect that they ain't going away until they choose to go away from me. Like I don't everybody's just a no for today, right? Like everybody's just a ghost for today. It just matters that they stay in that loop so that when the time comes that they're finally ready to stop ghosting me, they're ready to make that move. So that's what I would lean into. I do believe in trying to stay on platform, but I do believe in asking to get more. Like, hey, I'd love to add you to our email group. Shoot me your email when you've got a chance. And then if they do, then now you've really got them one more stage in. So I hope that helps. Great question. Made me work my brain. So I love it. Well, thank you guys for coming on. It's 10 o'clock. Again, I sent you, for a lot of you, I sent you an email. I'm not sure if I got everybody. Please feel free. My email is Tara, Tara, at weareyourcompass.com. Everything's spelled out. Weareyourcompass.com. And cool. Um, sorry, chat got me. And thank you so much for joining us. And if you need anything, if you're interested in digital advertising or just having marketing services, Compass is here to help, and we'd love to work with you. So thanks for joining us. See you guys later.